I just tried to film this in 1080p for you, but I'm not going to do that again. I was filming basically from my nose down the whole time. I was holding it up here like this because I can't see the screen when the good camera on the other side of the phone is facing me. So without a cameraman, I'm very happy to have blue tack. If you don't know what blue tack is, I don't know where you live, because that's kind of weird that you don't know blue tack. It's stuff that you just pinch off, stick on a wall, and you can put a poster on it. And it's blue. It's Smurf poo. That's what it is. Strumpfpöpen. Gaga du Smurf, right? Look at this. This is where I thought there was a problem with my hair not being cut even around the back, but I pulled this off earlier today and shaved my head again just so I could address this. I've only had it on for 3 days, but that's been pinched out all that hair there from the hairpiece. So I've got to remove this hairpiece, right? It's not going to work. But the reason I'm filming you in direct sunshine, there's a bit of a diffused light there, but every time I pick the phone up off there, it goes, and then I accidentally press the button and I can't be bothered. So you're just going to stay there this entire video, okay? Just a quick little video showing you sunshine on the hairpiece. Now, the thing I keep blaming has disappeared. Oh, how convenient, because it was hiding, right? Aqua Ultra Hold, the world's shiniest glue. The temperature now in this room is probably 12 degrees Celsius, so it's cold. So there should be no reason for the hair to have the glue to have melted. And even so, if you can't see that that looks like your mother's vagina right now, then there's nothing I can do. You've got the perfect lighting conditions. Just look closely. See how shiny that is already? When it's 25 degrees Celsius and you start to sweat, I probably start sweating at about 20 degrees, 22 degrees Celsius. Most people would start sweating about 20, 30 maybe sometimes. Some people just, they don't care, they're fit and healthy and they don't sweat. I don't know why they don't sweat. But this is, you can tell there's something really weird going on with this hairpiece. With this person's hair. You don't want somebody to go, huh, what's wrong with that guy's hair? You want it to look real. That's the whole objective. So this glue shining through like this, and if I press on it, can you hear that? It's ruining, it ruins you can see how it sticks down, like it's all just now stuck down. Can you see that? Every time I press it, it's just, the glue has penetrated right through. So if you wear a hat while wearing a hairpiece on a hot day, and that glue there, through lace at least, it's gonna ruin it. Like, trying to brush that out maybe, it could work a bit. I'm just sick of the front hairline being so dirty all the time. Like, it's just incessantly a dark line across. It should just blend in nicely. But the glue is another major problem. The glue is just so, once the glue is stuck to the hairpiece, the whole thing should kind of just dry and set and be stuck to your head and to the hairpiece, but no more melting of the glue. After a certain amount of time, just like, imagine if you glued a mug together. A mug handle back on. Like, imagine you broke the handle of your mug. You want to stick it back on, you've used some glue, but then you put coffee in it, and now it's too hot and the whole thing just breaks off. That's the way they're making glue for our hair. I don't know what kind of horses they're using. I wouldn't use, if I thought that was coming from horses' hooves, I wouldn't buy it. I'd use saliva or chewing gum. I don't want horses to be killed just for my fucking hair. This is, I don't know if you can't see that, how shiny that is, can you? Can you see the shine? I can't see this. I've got a blazing star shining in my face. 8 light minutes away, it's going, and then I've got this dark screen. Can't see anything. I can't see my own reflection. Not on the phone anyway. I can see my reflection in real life. So, I'm so hoping that this poly will solve this entire problem. And because the thing is with poly is, how will glue be seen through it? It should be impossible. Up here the glue doesn't seem as melted. But down here, along the front hairline, it's the most melted. So I don't get that. I just don't get why the front hairline wants to melt the most. Up here it's not melted, now here it's starting to get more melted. Why the hell would that be? Why is that part of my head hotter than the... Are you seeing? I don't know what you can see. I can't fucking see what you can see. Right? It's frustrating. I need a cameraman. They can then see through the viewfinder or through the screen. Yeah, that's looking good. That's really in focus. It's all working perfectly. But me filming this, not being able to see the screen properly, twice in a row, it fucking does my head in. The thing is, I'm going to throw this out. Well, I have to because this part up here has a chunk missing out of it. By the way, after I had pulled it off my head this morning, I cleaned my scalp, shaved my head, and then I put this with its own glue that was already there back on simply for this video because I know I'm going to throw it away. So that's why it came off very easily just then. Like if I dove into a pool just then, it would have come straight off. Which might be a problem when it comes to my idea of pre-gluing the poly and just sticking it on my head. I don't know why that would make any difference. Maybe the glue goes into the pores of your skin when it's wet and hardens in like as a kind of a gripping mechanism, but I doubt it. It shouldn't make any real difference. Because if I glued glue on there and then covered it with plastic, then pulled the plastic off and then slapped it on my head, I kind of think that should be the same amount of stickiness than pre-gluing my head and then just putting that on dry. The only reason they say not to put glue on the underside of lace is so the glue doesn't come through into their hairs. 7 minutes between. All I wanted to show you was how shiny the glue is through the hairpiece. You can see the missing hairs on that part there. It just, and you can also see the color difference in the sunshine finally. I told you that this was a different color from my natural hair, right? It is. And you can see now, I think, well I can see clearly in sunshine that this hair color is different from that hair color. Very different. And this is the hairpiece I've been showing in all the videos recently. So this hasn't changed color since my last video that I posted yesterday. It's just that there's sunshine now. We can actually see. Mirrors are usually unable to let you see. You can't see your own reflection in a fucking mirror unless there's sunshine on your hair. But then it's too bright to see your own reflection. But you can clearly see the colours. So, I don't know how we can solve this problem as hair wearers, or anybody for that matter. You think clothes suit you, then you go out in the sunshine and people are going, geez, it looks terrible. But it looks great, it looks fantastic in your mirror at home, or another mirror. Mirrors are such a problem. I'm trying to think of a solution in this room, how to rip out the bath and shower and make this gigantic mirror system so it is all very well lit in here. And I can absolutely see how I look. Back of my head, top of my head, body, everything. Because it pisses me off that I can't see my own fucking reflection. I don't think I like the hair being that short anymore. I've changed my mind. I do want some more play in it. And also, well, the idea came from also having the idea that this is actually way too short. Well, still. It's still too short. That's a 1/4 inch. Let's just go from them. Okay, so this is 5/8 of an inch, which is probably how long the hair is. All over my head now, because I shaved using this at all other parts of my head except here. I wouldn't want to shave here. I want this to be longer than 5/8 of an inch. I want this to be 1.5 inches long. I want this to be that plus a bit more, so then I can totally flow it over the top of my hairpiece. But I need it to be the same color as my natural hair. But the thing is, it wouldn't matter as much if it wasn't. Like, for example, if this hair was like that, right? And then this hair flowed over, and it would be streaks of natural hair. It would be blending in with it more. So people would just think, oh, well, the front's a bit lighter, or it doesn't matter. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't notice. It wouldn't be something that their brain would point out to them. But isn't it interesting to see that mirrors don't actually work? And also this, I can actually see at least the dimensions of my face as they are in reality. Because I'm using with 2 eyes that are 10 centimeters apart, looking dead on at myself in the reflection there, at least. 2-dimensional version of what I actually look like. Whereas you're looking through a pinprick, probably the same size as my pupil when there's a lot of light in the room. But still only one, and it's coned out, and I think there's some sort of lens in there that makes everything kind of allow you to see a lot from that sort of distance. Usual cameras, like a standard camera lens would be about that big, but you're that big. So that's the sort of camera I'm dealing with here. So I'm hoping to at least catch the colours of my hair in the sunshine. That's my old Hair Direct box. So I've been putting hair on since 2011 or so. 2009 maybe? Can't remember. 2011. Probably 2011. So I've been doing this for about 7 years. For some reason I thought I'd been doing it for 9 years. Time goes pretty quickly nowadays. No, that's fairly good. I wonder if that's easier for you to see knots in sunshine. That's lit by the sun now. So are you focusing on that? I can't tell. Does sunshine allow you to focus better? But look how smooth and shiny that is compared to this one. They almost look like different colours, even though they're exactly the same, just because of the shortness of it. They're both cut out of the same hairpiece, this one and this one. They're both from the same hairpiece. Strange, isn't it? So that's my year's supply of lace hairpieces, which won't be relevant soon because I'll be using poly. Hopefully it'll stay like that, and I will probably never want to use them again. Except to save money. I'll just use them in the future when I'm just knowing it's some wind, not going to be out in the sunshine for a long time. But that probably won't be this year. So now that the sun's on my head, I can actually feel my forehead. It feels warm. So before I start sweating, so it's not warm enough that I'm sweating, because I'd say it's still only 17 degrees really in this room, maximum. On my head, it feels like it's been in the sun, but there's definitely no sweat. You can see I'm not sweating. There's no sweat. But what I should try to put on is no sweat, just to see what that's like. It must seem to you that I'm using pretty inferior products or techniques to have to reapply a hairpiece after 3 days. I have a chunk missing from my hairpiece. That happens once every 20 hairpieces or so. Probably less. Probably more than that, sorry. But I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't have disposable hair systems. If you're watching this, please write why you would wash your hairpiece and reuse it. Why? They're so fucking cheap. Like I said, this is $10 a week if I wear them for 3 weeks each and then chuck them out. Why would you? You can't afford $10 a week? You want to try and clean the glue out of the like, what the fuck? I guess it would be more expensive if you had to use one entire hairpiece because you had to do the whole head, maybe. You want to save some money. But I'm gonna use this once, and then that's broken anyway. That's broken. It's going in the bin. And for some reason, I think when it's that short, the texture's kind of a little bit unsightly. So anyway, this no sweat is dried. So in direct sunlight, I'm going to apply the shiniest fucking glue that ever existed. Glue that likes to melt. In Antarctica, while the rest of the continent is frozen and the penguins are freezing fucking cold, Walker Ultra Hold melts down through the ice because it gives off a heat all of its own and never hardens. And if it hardens, it'll harden between the temperatures of fucking negative 273 degrees Celsius, which is absolute zero degrees Kelvin, and then it will melt at every other temperature after that. But it's the only glue that fucking works. Why would a glue that doesn't harden properly be better than all the other shitty glues? Like Ghost Bond. Why do people recommend that? I put that stuff on my head and somebody might sneeze from the next apartment and the vibration through the wall, creating the slightest amount of wind, you know, that the world has ever heard of. It's almost like the stillest part of the universe. It will force my hairpiece off in like it was in a hurricane. Ghost Bond is it's useless. What the fuck? Are you serious? Why would you compliment that glue? Why would anyone think that water-based adhesives, any of them, I've tried about 20 of them, I've never seen them hold at all. Diving headfirst into a swimming pool with that shit on, you would lose it. The whole thing would just come off instantly. There is no way, unless you have alien skin, or unless I've got alien skin, maybe I've got alien skin, the rest of you are normal. In which case, don't listen to a goddamn word I have to say. Ultra Bond is ultra shiny. I would love an alternative glue. Nobody's been able to recommend me or show me a glue that actually works. No shine, proper adhesion. after a shower, in heat, during sweating. You know, put on your stupid nose sweat. If anything, I reckon that'll lessen the bond. I think it will lessen the bond by having the nose sweat. Also, it doesn't matter if I'm sweating or if this thing's sitting on a piece of timber. It'll still melt and shine like crazy in any sunlight at all. Even a dim children's fucking lamp could probably be the brightest thing on the planet. It's shiny and it melts like crazy. But it still keeps that fucking thing stuck to your head. Maybe it's the thickness of the glue. Maybe because I'm applying, this thing naturally wants to be about 1 millimeter thick when you paste it on. Maybe if you used 1 millimeter thick of Ghost Bond, that would work. I'm not used to painting my head in the sunshine. This is drying faster than usual. And when I say drying, I don't mean drying, I mean becoming less liquidy, more plasma-y, I suppose. Is jelly a plasma? Is jelly a solid, semi-solid? I don't know what the categories are when it comes to things that are gelatinous. I always thought it was just solid, liquid and gas. I never really understood what plasma was. Like lava is a liquid, right? Apparently glass is actually a liquid. Because over 100 years you see the bottom of the window is thicker than the top because it's gradually, but slowly, dripped down the atoms from the top to the bottom. But that's impractical for a human to experience that. Might as well say solid in a way. But then jelly would melt into a proper liquid as well, wouldn't it? I hope you can see clearly, because I'm in direct sunshine and you will never get better lighting than this. You might get a better camera than this. This is a pretty shit camera. But the lighting, I find with filming, most cameras are fine in high levels of light. So I will edit this next bit out because it's going to be 15 minutes for you to wait. I'm probably going to have a cigarette and have a coffee or something. Wearing my new porcelain veneers. No, I've still got plastic coverings. Still a bit of blood in there from the dentist the other day. They're all white. Get your teeth done if they're not already done. If you're injured, try to find another way to do exercise. I'm injured. I've got to find another way and I'm just too fucking lazy. I'm like, oh, this chair feels good. But then I'm bent like this all day and then I lie down all night. So I'm sitting and then lying. And then wake up and I'm sit. Asleep, I'm lying down. Then I wake up and I'm sitting down. Now I'm standing. I guess this is exercise. Then why are my armpits sticking into my fucking arms so that I can't close them properly? I can feel my tits. It's disgusting. It feels bad. It feels like a nice warm hug at first. You're like, oh, it actually feels quite nice being fat. But you can't be bothered standing up off the chair, right? Everything's just a pain in the ass. You don't feel aerated, you don't feel energetic, you feel lethargic all the time, so fix that. I address these problems simultaneously to the hair thing because you're obviously a vain person. You're watching this. You want to fix yourself up, make yourself look better. I'm not going to say shame on you, I'm going to say congratulations. You've come to your senses. Good. So fix your teeth, don't be a fat ass. Teeth, hair, body weight. Not just body weight, get muscle. And wear clothes that don't make you look fat. Big saggy clothes, they could hide the folds, which will make you, right? Which is, probably better than wearing a tight clothes. But I think there's like I said in the other video, there are videos on how to wear clothes on YouTube. If you're overweight, wear these clothes, which are sort of, you know, a centimetre around the body in terms of tightness, not a couple of inches out, so it's floppy. That looks worse than just being fat with some clothes that almost fit, but definitely not something that's so tight. And I know what you feel like. You're sucking it in all the time, so you want something to conform to that sucked in look. Otherwise, it's going to be that much extra shirt because you're sucking in that much gut, right? Whatever you do, keep it temporary. Don't have 3 pizzas and 2 milkshakes. What are you doing? You've got to go for walks, okay? Just get out of the fucking house, but not in the car. Walk somewhere. If you're going to drive somewhere where you can move your body, swim, or, well, I've seen a lot of fat swimmers. Then again, I've seen a lot of fat walkers. But I've seen thin, muscular swimmers, and I've seen thin, muscular walkers. Whatever they're doing, copy that. Be back in 15 minutes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes. I just looked up the temperature online. Well, it just showed me on my phone. It's 11 degrees Celsius outside. This room is experiencing greenhouse effect though, so I just wet my hairpiece. Now I'm just drying it by patting it down. Now I'm checking the underside to make sure there are no hairs facing inwards in the lace. But I do need to brush it by putting it on my knee and then holding the top and then just brushing it along my leg. So now I'm going to take some alcohol. This is from Hair Direct, the bottle, but the alcohol inside it is from the supermarket. Because it didn't come in spray form. I needed a pump bottle. Gee, this is a lot easier to see in sunlight. The top of my natural hairline in the sunshine. Maybe I just need brighter lights in the bathroom. So what I'm doing when I brush is I'm basically pushing it in just enough to get that top bit stuck down so that I can now give it a bit of a pull down to make sure that it's even, or I apply it a bit lower here. So I'm just sticking the lace down into the tacky glue. And strangely, once again, it seems like the shine down the front is shinier than the top part. How the fuck? That's brand new. Can you Can you see that? You can also see if there are any knots in this lighting. But also, that's freaking me out, that shine, which is clearly visible to me. I'm not really sure how good this camera is at seeing that, but it doesn't seem shiny anywhere from there upwards. It only seems shiny from there to there. What the fuck? The bit that matters. How can that be shinier than the rest? What did I do differently at the front when I applied the glue to the top? Ooh, that is on diagonally. Look at that. That's... I'm just figuring out whether or not this part up here is actually higher than I want it to be, or if it's correct. No, I think I want it to be lower. Sorry, it's going to be a problem. I hate it when that happens. Really concentrate when you're putting on your hairpiece. You don't want that to happen. I've got to say, in sunshine, I can clearly see every single strand of hair much more easily. I never do this in daylight. I'm always doing this at night. So this is straight. This is what I'm going to do to fix up this part at the top here. Alcohol, comb. I feel like this weakens the bond actually. The more you do this, the more alcohol you apply. I feel like for some reason, maybe that's what I did differently. Maybe it's the alcohol spray. I'm only spraying up there and I'm not spraying down here. Maybe that's something to do with that shine phenomenon. Anyway. That's been brushed back, so I'm going to brush it in the correct direction. So I can see the top point properly. I don't want to see the front of my hairpiece hairline when I'm doing this. I just want to see back, because that's the place I'm applying it. And there are more bits sticking out through the bottom now because when it was glued down they got attracted and came through. In fact, it's, see, this is that stupid threading they put through to make it more dome shaped so it holds together as a dome. Please, once again, I can't tell you enough. There are enough people with receding hairlines who wear hair pieces that you don't need to make only dome hair for people, because it's a real pain in the ass to have to deal with the domes. And we don't want the threading, and we don't want the folds, and we don't want the dome at all. Like I said, this is a pain in the ass. Doing any of it is a pain in the ass. It's just, I really hope that that poly can be pre-glued and then I just slap it on my head. Okay. Okay, this time I put more of that alcohol spray on the bottom of my forehead because I'm worried about the laws of physics being broken, localized on my scalp, because that would freak me out. Now this time I try to make the edges equi-altitudinal. I haven't used that phrase before, but it seems to make logical sense to say it that way. Also a good idea to get rid of this shit as well. You don't want glue on your fingers, you don't want hairs on your fingers, and you don't want hairs all over the other utensils you're using either. I'm just going to unpeel that from the glue so that I can have good access when I do the front hairline again. Just feeling around there to check. Are they equi-altitudinal now? Potentially, but I didn't remember to lift up and pull down a bit. Fucking this up so much. I feel like the alcohol sprays weaken the glue hugely, but hopefully it'll dry. So now, what I've pulled that up for is because I didn't stretch it down, and so it wasn't going far enough down my forehead. Fuck. I've glued that side to my fucking forehead, I'm an idiot. Hopefully, yeah, see that? That's the fold from the... Please make the hair pieces better. There's no need for this shit. Okay. Hopefully all my problems will go away when the poly comes. Lace will not be a problem anymore because it will be gone. I hope. So 11 degrees outside. In this room, maybe, like I say, 17 degrees. I'm not sweating, but this room is experiencing a greenhouse effect. Now, even in the sunshine, to my eye, it seems like the hair colour is closer to matching now, even though that's the same colour as the hairpiece I just put on. It's interesting how texture can change the look of colours. Oh, that's wet though, that's wet. Okay, I'll wet this as well. Make it fair fight. Well, I've changed the colour of it. Okay. What is clear? Why does it make things darker? Alright. Wow, the refraction. I'm white. No fucking no. Yeah. More of this. See how accurate I can get it so I don't have to do it a third time. Well, I have to wipe off excess later on. Because wiping off the excess off the forehead where it meets the front hairline, I think I've often, like probably every time I've ever put this hairpiece on, because I don't do it accurately, I've got to rub my hand forcefully to get the glue off my forehead, which messes up the front of the hairpiece. Also, I'm not sure about how thick the glue needs to be at the front, which is the bit that always pops off. So maybe if I try to make it a little bit thicker, that might be the entire reason that Ultra Hold works more than the other glues. The thickness. When I say thickness, specifically I mean how many microns above my skin level is the depth of the glue. This stuff here is, I think, called Next Gen, but the labeling was so shit that it just scratched off. But this stuff you can put on with your finger and then just wash your hand before it dries. And you're supposed to do 4 levels, and you're supposed to leave it to wait for 5 minutes, then come back and do another layer, and then wait for 5 minutes, and come back and do another layer 4 times. But even after all that, it doesn't seem that this stuff is as thick as that is in one application. 4 layers of this is still thinner than 1 layer of this, it seems. That's cleaner and easier because water-based to get off the hairpiece and all that stuff, but it has no real holding strength. Almost zero holding strength. The lace needs to stick in so that those holes are filled with glue, and it's kind of like an anchor throughout the entire lace. Whereas that, if it's not deep enough, that lace will be sitting on a somewhat sticky surface, which has nowhere near the anchoring power. They should thicken all the other glues so they stand a chance, and then just increase the waiting time. Wouldn't you rather that? Wouldn't you rather it was just thicker? Okay, so just gonna wait for that to dry a bit. That was interrupted because I didn't put it in airplane mode and somebody rang and just interrupted the video. I hope it recorded. Never know, it's my phone. Now there's a text message appearing on the screen. Now, I'm not sure if the sun will actually aid with the drying of this glue or make it impossible for the glue to dry. I'm starting to get to a heat level where I'm beginning to feel sweaty. So I'd say this room is now 22 degrees. 23 degrees maybe. The door is open, so there's a chance that cold air from the rest of the house could come in, but there's no wind pushing it out or anything. So this is really a greenhouse. I think plants would grow well in here actually. But like I've said before, make sure you've got a cold bathroom with sunshine. it would be hard for me to figure out how much light that is, but I'm just trying to compare the times that I've looked into a halogen work light in a garage. I'd say that's twice as, it's probably 4 times, it's like 4 of those blasting you. You know how hot they are, right? They'll burn your hand if you touch the glass in front of the halogen. That's how hot they are. So, I'd say the glue's been on for about 7 minutes. So I don't really want to touch it too much. I'll touch it on the side. Okay. Well, it's done. I'm guessing 7 minutes, by the way. I always say 15, be on the safe side, but might have been 7, might have been 12. Definitely not more than 15 minutes though. Okay, so I'm just going to start in the middle, flattening it out wide. Can you see that thing? That's the fold. That's the danger zone. Lucky I've got medium density and not medium light density, otherwise that would be completely visible to everyone. Not that the glue won't anyway. Okay, so I spread it across. And so that's the amount of shine that people see on my head whenever I wear a hairpiece. So I use medium density and I brush it to the side, so that can't happen. And looking up to the top of the hairpiece, I get the feeling that it is just as shiny on top, but it's an optical illusion from my perspective that I can easily see the reflection, the reflective nature of the glue here, but that's facing that way, so it's hard for my eyes to see that bouncing. Whereas if I had another person in the room next to go, yeah, it's the same shininess all the way through. It stops right there, where your natural hairline is, and there's no glue. So the laws of physics are not broken. Now, why don't you just leave the hairs wispy and sitting in that little puddle of glue at the front there? That looks better, doesn't it? The reason is because by tomorrow, those hairs will be clumped together and stuck down and destroyed. Fuck me, is that too far in? Wet wipes. Let's stretch this over. Creating a fold. Also be careful that the glue doesn't come through and into the hairs there as well. It's too dangerous to brush dry hair at this length. Do you guys know how to reduce the shine? Aside from poly, just in case the poly doesn't work? What do you guys think about cutting the very front few millimeters of hairs so that they're a couple of centimeters long or even shorter? Would that work? Would that look bullshit? At any rate, what do you think about this sunshine visibility? Do you think that makes it easier for you as audience to see what's going on compared to an LED light, an overcast or whatever? What do you think overcast makes it easier? Like, that's unforgivably shiny, right? What do you think of that? Problem's gone on top, huh? Can't see that bullshit balding bit in the middle. The thing is, while I would wear this in public and stuff like that, I can't go back to school and have grown hair this fucking long in 1 month at the front of my head. Not that this will be the hairpiece that's going to be worn come Monday morning. It's scary. And it's not just like I've got to make a quick appearance and then, see, my hair's okay, see ya, bye. They'll be massaging my head and we'll be doing the fucking hokey pokey and shit. All close-ups on the camera. It's not like I'm a normal person interacting with people in a normal way. We're fucking doing yoga and shit and bending forward and touching our toes while the other partner watches our spines and watches our fucking tops of our heads. And then they film it with a camera and all that sort of shit. It's fucking... It's the ultimate test. If I come away from this course and they don't know about it, the thing is I didn't know about the other shit that they knew I didn't know. Like, they talk about each other behind their backs. That's the fucking environment I'm in. That's why it's scary. If they're all friendly and loving, I wouldn't give a shit. Okay, so brand new hairpiece. One thing that you can say about it is that there's absolutely no line of dirt along the glue line. Or anywhere. It's absolutely seamless in terms of having any lines of dirt. And that side is once again higher than that side. So I'm going to cut that bit out later, because I'm probably going to be wearing my hair forward anyway. Probably give myself a haircut as well. Well, there you go. That's sunlight on hair. Now showing at the National Gallery. Can you tell the difference in hair colour? Well, it's difficult now because it's wet, but it seems like it's more close in colour because it is wet probably. This is wet as well though. Yeah, the wetness makes it the same colour. Therefore, if you haven't got a proper colour match on your hair, use some kind of hair product that's shiny until you can replace it with the right colour. That's the way around it. I wish I could see some of your hairstyles, because I don't know if you're bald all the way around. How bald are you? Hey, my name's Tom and I'm completely bald. Excuse me, I have a question. Like, I wish you'd introduce, hi, my name's Barbara, I'm from Massachusetts. And Americans always tell you where they're from. Tell me how bald you are. Long time listener, no hair at all. So, yeah. I'll be cutting this later. You know how it looks when I cut it. I'm just going to cut it later. I don't want to do it while the sun's on my face. I don't want to sit down. Back's hurting again. So, that's it. I'm going to put this in the toilet. I'm going to put this in the bin. Maybe I'll just put both in the bin. It's fine. Also, when you're putting stuff in the bin like this, bury it under food and containers. Because you might forget. It's a bad habit. Like, somebody goes and she goes, ah, and they're screaming because there's some shit in the bin that they've never seen before. Some creature, some rodent, maybe a cat has died in your bin, or you've been killing animals and shit. You don't want to. She doesn't know if she should call the police. Hello, I don't know if I'm supposed to be calling you, but I found a creature. in my friend's garbage disposal unit. So just try to get good lighting, try to get good mirrors. But I don't know how you're going to deal with not having sunlight 24 hours a day. Because any lights that are bright that I know of are 1% of that. I'm not having to... See how you can't see my eyes? That's because I'm hiding them from the sunshine. I can't fucking open my eyes. Look how bright it is. That's why you're able to see more clearly. But you can always see more clearly than me. Because you can see the back of my head right now and I can't. Although I'm able to see the sides in these angled mirrors because I have set up a secondary mirror. I'm not sure which mirror you're looking at. That's all dirty because there was a storm coming through. It just rained. I don't know why rain is so dirty. It's like it's cleaning the sky, and that's all the dirt from the sky that's coming. Which means we're breathing that dust and shit 24 hours a day until it rains. Must be something to do with that smell after it rains. The dust particles coming from the air and shit. I don't know. It's very dirty air that we're breathing. Anyway, that's it. I want to make mirrors that work well. I want to make very good mirrors. I want to get a one-way mirror with a camera on the back of it. I'll just be looking into the mirror. I'll see a little red dot or something near where the camera is around there. So I'll know where to look, but I won't be using a fucking iPhone. I'm using a professional camera, which I've got out there, but I can't be bothered because there's no way to put it anywhere. I have to put it on the sink. It's fucking huge. It's this big. The big contraption, the microphone sticking out, it's just, and then the tripod's this big, right? That's the fucking size of the thing. The iPhone's this big. So what am I going to choose? A phone that can be blue tacked, or Strumpf Kaka to the mirror. Les Strumpfs. That's what the Smurfs are called in French. They're from Belgium. That's where they're from, like Tintin. I think Tintin's Belgian. Tintin. Asterix. So, yeah, Belgium's a big comic fan country, if you didn't know. My host father, when I lived there, had a really good collection of comics. Really, I love them. That's a good way to learn a language as well. Comics, because you can see the pictures while you're reading the words. And you have a little dictionary. Okay. That's sunshine. Sunshine here. I don't know what I'm going to call this. I'll figure something out. See ya. Sweet dreams are made of this. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody's looking for something. What do you think? So just leave it like that? Is that emo? Have I fixed the problem on top? Hope so. Probably not. This is only 3 months growth up here. We discovered it was 5/8 of an inch. Number 5 on the wild scale. 16 millimeters. You really should wet your hair when you cut it. Makes it easier to clean up as well. And also to grab the chunks more evenly. Just imagine you're going to do 5 or... I can't give you an exact equation unless your hair is exactly the same. Hairpiece is exactly the same length as mine, which is not, of course. Unless you've got a receding hairline, which is probably about the same. Most men, I'd say. I mean, I look at my receding hairline and I think I see the same recessions in other men quite often. Except I don't know about this. The sun's over there now, and it's not as high in the sky, so I guess there's more atmospheric diffusion, or whatever it's called. But it's winter sun, it's not summer sun. If it was summer sun, it would probably be up a bit higher. But we are 36 degrees south or something in Melbourne, I think. 36 degrees maybe. Is it a line of latitude or longitude? That's a latitude, probably. And that means the sun is never directly overhead, because we are south of the Tropic of, is it Cancer in the south? Capricorn. This is the sun, this is the earth, 23 degrees, 23 and 30 degrees, whatever, and it stays at that tilt always in my lifetime. So in summertime, if that's the southern hemisphere, we'll be receiving the maximum amount during the summer equinox, which I think is December 23rd or something, 21, I don't know. Anyway, that's when it'll be on the let's say Tropic of Capricorn maybe. It'll be receiving the maximum amount of light from the sun. The sun's directly overhead. But that's north of here. I think it's in Queensland. So it's north of even Sydney. I'm not sure how many degrees south of the equator that is. But we never receive the sun directly overhead in this city. So Melbourne is a fairly cold city. But in summertime it's often over 40 degrees. So that's a hot day. The hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, I think, is 56 degrees air temperature in the outdoors from the sun heating the atmosphere. Obviously, if you touched a rock, it's 56 degrees in the air, you could easily fry an egg. You could probably fry an egg at 40 degrees. If you dropped an egg on the ground, it would be cooked in about 15 minutes probably. So I'm cutting it fairly long compared to how I had it in that piece that I just threw in the garbage bin. Trash. Because I want more play. I think well, I'm going by looks. I'm also going by the practicality of hiding the front hairline. Now I said that it actually helps to have some kind of fluffiness to the front, and there's less chance that the wind can catch the front hairline. If it's too short, it can't act like a sail in the wind. But that's a pro, and also it's a pro that it could fluff out and hide the hairline in a way. But the con was, I don't think it looked as good. I couldn't do as much with it. And also, I think the main reason is that I think my face is too fat. I just watched a little bit of the video back and I saw myself doing this before. I look so fucking fat. And this, I can stand here and complain about it. So I know it's my fault. It is my fault. It's absolutely my fault that I'm fat. I just sit around and eat and watch screens. Do you ever stop when you're watching a screen like you are now? You go, oh, you're eating right now, aren't you? Well, I say this. You probably stop for a second when I said the word fat. And go, yeah. There's some crumbs on your top right now. You ever stop when you're watching a screen for a long period of time and go, I am just staring at a wall. I've been looking at a fucking wall for the last 20 years, just staring at a fucking wall. What am I doing with my life? And you realise, maybe I could go outside. Maybe there are other things in life apart from screens. The problem is you need people to do those things with you. How are you going to take anyone away from that beloved screen? It's very difficult to find somebody else who's not going to be looking at a screen all the time. I really think I'm missing out on life by looking at screens so much. If you try to think, what is there, when you move, what kind of movement could you do when in that you're not wasting your life? Who's moving in such a way that their life is not being wasted? Sports people, soldiers, people who work outdoors. If you stop and think about it for a long period of time, even a short period of time, probably not too hard to think this through, you'll come to the conclusion that nothing in life is actually important. Try and whittle it down. What is actually important? Humans? This planet? Life? Nothing is important unless you say it is. You just decide you make it up. There's no fucking, unless there's a quest that we don't know about and we haven't been informed about it, and if it's a secret, even if we pressed the play button on this computer game before we started ourselves, we don't know what the rules are. It's just a playground. And obviously this game would be a lot easier if we didn't have to worry about morals. Like, oh cool, so it's just a game, let's just go around shooting people that we hate. Well, if you can get away with it, you're hurting other people, but that's not you, is it? And if it's a game, then you could just go, well, I'm going to stop and think about it. If I stop and think about it, I'll feel sad. And I don't want to feel sad, so it's making me feel good to get revenge. So I committed murder. What are you going to call it? Murder. I stole. I raped. I wanted to fuck her and I fucked her. That's it. This is just a game. I'm going to do whatever I want, like in Westworld. But there's no evidence at all that there's any reason for any of this. There's no defining reason that you're more important than a bug that can be found anywhere except spoken by another human. Yeah, humans are more important than bugs. Are they? Prove it. And then you might say, well, a bug's better than a human because it doesn't fuck up the world. Didn't create a plastic mess after it, during its life and died. Didn't assist in the mass murder of innocent creatures in concentration camps. Yeah, but the human mattered more. Why? Prove it. Why did the human matter more than the bug? You have no reason. Well, it says so in the Quran or the Bible or some shit. Oh, that's not really evidence. Lots of people making up religions in the old days. That one just stuck, because if you didn't believe in it in the old days, you got burned at the stake. And they fed you to the, or some other, before that they fed you to the lions if you did believe it. And they got a bit of revenge or whatever. You didn't believe it. They're just making shit up. There's no evidence that there's some crazy creator of the universe going, wipe your ass in this direction, only fuck in this position. No. Here's my son, I'm going to send him down to undo the sins of Adam and Eve by, because they ate an apple when I told them not to, after I chucked an apple tree or whatever, fruit tree of knowledge, right in front of them. Yeah, don't eat this. Why'd you put it there then? To test you. Why? To see if you love me as much as I love you. That's not very nice. Are you crazy? Don't know. Haven't invented that word yet, maybe. Now I'm going to send my son down, and I want you to torture him to death. Because only then will I give permission for you to come back to my special cloudy palace that I haven't quite built properly yet. No evidence for any of that shit. Just a bunch of crazy people who wear sandwich boards that says the end is nigh. The end is coming. Do you believe them? Is your culture one that pressures you into believing those maniacs? There is no proof of any of that bullshit. And I was brainwashed like so many others growing up. I was angry at people who didn't believe. It's like, why don't they believe? We should just punish people who don't believe. I came to that conclusion myself. I wasn't taught that. It just made sense. If they're disobeying God and they're going to go to hell, we should force them to believe this. I don't know why they don't believe. It's obvious. It says it in the Bible. It was very scary, knowing that God and Satan were reading my mind at all times, of course. To defy them, to think freely, to dare to go against the creator of the universe and his, I don't know, did God just snap his fingers and make Satan, or did he? What are the other angels' names? What are some female angels' names? I don't really know the angels and how they got there. It just says in the beginning, God brooded over them. Darkness. Anyway, what was he doing there? How did he get there? And during the start of Genesis, when God made the world, I think it says in some other book, or later in Genesis or something, that God was actually in the company of angels at that time. I don't remember ever hearing about how God made the angels, or why he made the angels, or if he didn't even make the angels. But I'm pretty sure he was lonely and he made angels first. That was before he created what in the Bible is referred to as the world, with twinkly decorations in the sky. Because they had no fucking idea what was going on up there in the sky. They had no idea. It's all just put there as decorations for humans. That's their reasoning. You got to forgive them because they wrote it during the Bronze Age, didn't they? They're basically their grandparents were cave people. Now they've figured out how, if a rock is round, it rolls better. That's about the extent of their technology. That's how far along they were. I'm not sure if this hair length is correct. Probably not. But like all my hair cuts, I just keep tweaking them over time. Same with the hairline and stuff. That was an unfortunate stick down there. I missed that bit on the edge. This problem zone up here seems to be back again. And that's not to do with the hairpiece, that is to do with the positioning of it. And up there. I might have missed the mark on this one. Yeah, it's definitely worse on this side as well, again. So how did we get here? Is that your question? Are you asking a human how the universe appeared? Do you think a human knows the answer? Really? I'd say it's between either a mind or just a mind that was there at the beginning of this universe but came from some other type of existence. A mind or minds, not just a mind. Don't know about its genitalia, whether it's male or female or other, or plant or whatever that made it, or mind or had no body at all, whatever. No idea. I definitely don't think it's a male human in the sky, that we are made in his image, or we're inside him and he's one of his left testicles. He's got this ginormous schlong that takes up every part of space that we've ever discovered. I mean, how big is God's dick really? Would he be circumcised, do you think? And if so, who did the circumcision? And if he wanted everyone to be circumcised, why didn't he make humans dicks shaped like frill-neck lizards in the first place? As a test. There are so many crazy examples that when God tests people in the Bible. You know about Abraham and Isaac. Kill your son for me. Prove you love me. I am a jealous God, right? Just don't worry, just kill that lamb over there instead. You have proven that you were about to do it, but you don't need to do it anymore because I've changed my mind. But thanks for showing me, and your son, that you are crazy enough to do whatever I fucking say. Also, some example of some guy brings over his concubine. Don't really know what that means. I think it's like his mistress or something. One of his, not his wife, but one of his girlfriends or his daughter or something. I can't remember what it is. And all of the townsfolk, because they're visiting a new town, want to lay hands on those women and rape them. Like have a big fucking orgy on these unclaimed women, or these men who were obviously not enough to defend these women. Also, I know that the story is there's a new man in town that they've never seen before, and they're like, okay, we'll have sex with that then. We've never seen him, and there aren't enough women around or whatever, so we're all gonna fuck this guy. But then the friend of the friend of this guy, who is from the town, says, nay, lay ye hands on him not, but of the concubine and mine daughter shall ye feast and have thine way, or something.
And the God approved of this. And then later in the night, she's like fucking all covered in sperm all over her fucking tits and body and hair, and her eyelashes are all stuck together. And she's like knocking on every door until like, oh fuck, where have you been, you stupid red twench? Now ye shall be fucking beheaded or something, as is the God's commandment, for being so disgusting and filthy. And God was pleased at this or some shit. Like, read the Bible, man. It's disgusting, the whole fucking thing. It's absolute filth. I bet you haven't read, if you are a Christian, you probably haven't read the Bible. I bet most Christians have not read the Bible. Oh yeah, but it's about the New Testament. Forget the Old Testament, that's old God. He changed his mind. Now he just throws his son onto a crucifix to die for the sins of Adam and Eve. Because we had, original sin. Because they kneweth of the fucking... But before... They were naked and went, oh, that's delicious. Oh, I'll fuck you now. God was like, yeah, that's good. He's eating apples all the time. He didn't fuck. He already knows everything, right? So he didn't care. But he then said, I wonder if they are curious and want to know things. Because that would suck. I'm just going to put this tree down because I can't read them. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm going to go over here and do the dishes for a while. And I'll come back and see what they're up to. And then they're like, what? He's like, why are you wearing fig leaves and shit? Why aren't you naked? He said, we're embarrassed in that, right? And he's, hang on a sec, did you eat that fucking tree from the fruit of knowledge? Did you eat that fruit from the tree of knowledge? He said, no. I didn't do it, said Adam, but she made me do it. She made me eat it. And she's like, hovering her tits and stuff. And then going, no. It was the snake told me to do it. And the snake's like, you know me, God. Of course I'm going to tell him to fucking eat the apple. You were trying to hide the truth of reality from them. And they're all confused and like walking around like fucking primitives and stuff. I thought, they needed to have some understanding of how the universe runs and everything. They've got 900 years here. Give them a break. Right? We got to punish them all and shit. You're not coming to heaven. You're not coming to heaven. And you're going to continue crawling on your belly for the rest of your days. Anyway, it is an alarming stupidity. I was going to say fact. It is a fact, but it is fucking stupid that such a huge percentage of the world believes in that. Another frightening thing, see, that is almost harmless that these people are all delusional. Just completely fucking delusional, walking around like fucking Bronze Age primitives and interacting with each other. Just sit in church and just listen to the words of, "Oh, Holy Father, we gathereth before you to eat your body in this cracker, and now we shall drink thy blood in red wine." What the fuck? That's nothing compared to, send all those animals, zap them with electricity and get them in the fucking Auschwitz over there, the concentration camp, and then slice all of their throats open so that we'll eat about half of it. Most of it will be thrown out, obviously, or used in a boxing movie or something. We'll eat some of it, okay? We've got 8 billion people. We'll need about 56 billion animals killed every year to feed everyone. Do we need to eat meat? No. Just tastes good. And skin that badger, or that minx, or that fox or something. Just skin all those animals. Breed them, take their pups away from them, screaming, doesn't matter. Just, if they bite you, just torture them a bit. Okay, it's easy. It's free. They just keep growing. You just give them the basic, shittiest food you can find. It keeps them alive, and then keep them in a cage. It doesn't matter how they feel. And then just skin them. Mostly kill them, then skin the fucking fur off them and discard their body. Have you ever seen footage of a blinking, scared husk of muscle and fear with its eyelashes still on after one of those animals wasn't killed properly, and they just pulled they just cut around its neck so they can get a good grip on the bottom part and just put the fingernails in it, just rip the fucking skin off the body. or a baby lamb being torn from its mother, or a baby cow, or seeing how a hatchery works, where the chickens are laying eggs and they're going through, because they need to breed some of the animals occasionally, right? They need to keep bringing in new chickens so they can kill them. They want eggs as well. So they'll steal their eggs, and then they'll steal their bodies, and then just the beaks and the fucking everything, right? Feathers. And then, so the boys, you only need one cock for like lots of chickens, right? They'll fight if they all get put in the cage together. So most of the babies just going into a mulcher, just falling babies. Babies. Are you fucking hearing me? You're eating, mostly what you're eating when you eat meat is babies. When you eat an adult cow or a sheep or something, probably like a 2 or 3 year old. How long do you reckon they can keep them in the cage? Imagine if it was a human. There's no crime bigger than this that's ever faced humanity. There's nothing bigger. There is no war crime has ever exceeded what we do at slaughterhouses, vivisection laboratories. It is. I know that the people of the future will agree with me and go, of course. But I don't think they realize how brainwashed the rest of you all are. Just stop and think about it, please. Fix your hair a bit, but also care about the world. Care about the feelings of others. But don't worry about fucking political incorrectness or jokes or whatever. You can care a little bit about the way people insult each other or whatever, but don't value that higher than mass murder. 1 + 1 equals B? No, it equals 2. Do the maths on this shit, right? It's easy. Mass murder here, nigger, kike, spick, honky, slut, ranger, schizo, psycho, fucking retard. Over here. Mass murder here, insult words here. Mass murder, torture, rape, false imprisonment, having babies kidnapped, ripped away from their parents, swear words. Which is worse? Oh, I don't like racism, but give me some more steak. That's the end of the video.